Hey guys, this is Live Read Day 16. I'm starting at chapter 11, which is page 81, and we'll be reading to page 102, and it will probably be two parts. If I have to stop this early, it's because my kiddos need their mommy, so it may be more than two parts today, but I'm hoping not. So, chapter 11. On the way to my bus stop on Wednesday, I'm running my fingers through my hair because I didn't have time to brush it when I see Silas coming down the steps of his trailer. Except his dad's truck isn't in the driveway like it usually is. Where's your truck? Silas shakes his head and stares at the ground in front of him. Still at the police station, he mumbles. What? Is everything okay? Yeah, except that one of the teachers at school called the police when he saw our shotgun in the back of our truck when my dad was picking me up after school. Silas is walking fast, and I hustle to catch up with him. What happened? I ask. The police were nice enough. They got it that he was picking me up to go hunting. They just had to hold the truck overnight for security purposes. But at least they gave us a ride to the woods around Squirrel Tail Brook so we could go hunting, and my dad and I had a great time anyway. Still, that teacher wasn't a fan of hunting. Silas shakes his head. If he eats meat, he sure isn't thinking about where it comes from. You're going to keep hunting though, right? Of course I am. I nod. You better. He looks at me for a long moment. So, aren't you going to ask me what we found yesterday? I bite back a smile. What'd you find? Silas stares up into the white sky. More coyote tracks. Porcupine scat, and the newest snow was so dry that whenever some slid off a high tree branch, it was like shining bits of gold shimmering down in the sunlight. I stare at Silas. I get why he keeps his mouth shut as soon as he's around other kids. Otherwise, people would stand in line just to beat him up. No signs of the bobcat? Silas grins. Not yet. On the bus, I ignore the 8th grade boy who pretend coughs some comment I can't understand and lean my face against the window. I can see Matt's house as soon as we turn the corner onto his street. His front door is open, and when the bus pulls up in front of his house, I can make out his mom in the doorway with him, pushing a travel mug into his hand. She gives him a kiss on the cheek just as he heads towards the bus. Is that coffee? Someone calls as Matt makes his way down the aisle of the bus. Yeah, right, Matt says. Banana peanut butter smoothie. I was up late working on my essay for social studies and I didn't have time for breakfast. I try to picture my mom pulling herself out of bed to make me a smoothie because I'm tired in the morning. As if she wasn't exhausted. As if she didn't have to take care of Hector. As if Frank wouldn't have thrown a fit for him getting woken up by a blender. As if he had a working blender. As if we had bananas. As if. The 7th grade hallway is already jam-packed with bodies and backpacks when I arrive. As I make my way through the sea of shrieks and the rattle of lockers slamming shut, the slits of my octopus eyes stay horizontal. Octopuses have these little sacs called statocysts that respond to motion and gravity, so that their eyes can be totally unfazed, totally steady. It doesn't matter if the current whips all around and sends my tentacles off in some random direction. My eyes are always right side up, never upside down. Fuchsia is waiting for me at my locker wearing her black painted jeans and shirt with intentional holes. When I get to my locker, she has her eyes closed as though she wasn't just watching me make my way through the hallway. She lets out a huge sigh. What's wrong? I ask. She opens one eye. Oh, hey, she says. When did you get here? As though she wasn't just watching me. She's definitely not the Fuchsia who was dancing around the game room on Sunday. I start opening my locker. She sighs again and rolls her eyes so slowly and dramatically that I wonder if her eyeballs are going to roll into the back of her head. She does not exactly have steady horizontal octopus eyes. I give up. What's wrong? I ask again. It's all stupid. I jiggle my locker open. What is? I hang my coat up while I wait for an answer, but she doesn't say anything. I look at her and she's twisting up a flyer someone was handing out about some student council fundraiser. The top of it says something about buying Valentine's Day carnations for your sweeties and besties. Mostly, though, she looks like she's going to throw up. I push my locker shut. What's going on? Crystal and her goo brain decided we might be moving again. What? I say, to where? Just down the street like we always do. I guess there's some guy, Michael, who's gonna cut us a better deal on rent, but Fuchsia glares into my locker like it's Crystal's gooey brain. I don't want to move again. And this Michael guy seems super sketch. He started hanging around Crystal at the bottle deposit a few weeks ago. Then he offered to give her a ride to Walmart and she let him. She had enough sense not to let him drive her home afterwards, but here we are 3 weeks later, and who cares if sketchy Michael doesn't know where we live, because soon we're going to be moving into his very own sketchy apartment. Tell your mom you don't want to go. Fuchsia shakes her head. She waved some stupid custody paperwork in my face and said I've got to do what she says. Fuchsia rips a piece off the flyer. That's what she thinks. Crystal can turn into a full-on defensive lineman when she wants to. Like, when she and my mom had the big falling out that ended their friendship, it was like Crystal tucked her head and tried to plow my mom right over. Jealous? My mom said afterwards. And that's why you don't poke your nose in other people's business. And Lenny added plenty of anti-Crystal words of his own. Fuchsia turns around and kicks the locker she's been leaning against. And she doesn't think I'll be able to bring Jane Kitty with me because this Michael guy doesn't like cats. I shut my locker. What are you going to do? Fuchsia rips off another section of the flyer and starts balling it in between her fingers. She said she'd call the cops on me if I refused. I take a deep breath. Are you sure this Michael isn't an okay guy? Have you seen him being sketchy? I can tell he's got sketch written all over him. Do you want to sign up to move in with him instead? Maybe it won't be so bad, I say. Maybe he'll fall in love with Jane Kitty just like you did. You could even get your own room. Yeah, right. She glares at me like I'm the one forcing her to move. I'll make sure you're the first to know when I do. I try to keep my octopus eyes as steady as possible. Well, what do you want me to? But Fuchsia cuts me off. You know, maybe Crystal isn't the only one who can make a big deal phone call, because all I'd have to do is call the DCF person and start telling them stuff. Her eyes light up. You know, I could tell her that she's in for it if she goes ahead with this. Several lockers down, I hear laughter, and I turn to see a bunch of boys with Matt in the middle telling some jokes. And then if Fuchsia is saying, wait, what are you looking at? I quickly look away from the group of guys. Nothing. Oh. Fuchsia throws a little paper ball at me. I was totally right, wasn't I? You do have some boy thing going on. I do not. Say it then, she says. Say what? Say there's not a single boy in this hallway that I could be interested in. You're ridiculous and too loud. Say it. You should get going to your homeroom, I say. Aren't you going to get a detention if you're late again? Say it. I shake my head and walk away, past the boys, without looking at a single one of them. You didn't say it, Fuchsia calls after me. Fuchsia might have been the only girl willing to be friends with me when I moved back to town in 5th grade, but she doesn't always make it easy. During this week's ACE period, Miss Rochambeau is going on and on about supporting your position with evidence. Yes. Too bad I'm pretty clear on my position already. It's, I don't belong in ACE period debate club, quote, end quote. And I've got plenty of, quote, evidence to back it up. Evidence number 1, hermit crabs in the science classroom don't look down on me. The cat drawing girl, whose name is apparently Lydia, is another story. I'm pretty sure she keeps shifting her notebook away from me. Matt hasn't even noticed I'm here. Evidence number 2, the hermit crabs need me because no one deserves to live in a filthy tank, and Lydia and Matt definitely don't need me. Evidence number 3, I stop and I realize Miss Rochambeau is passing out worksheets. I sneak a peek at Lydia and then a super quick one at Matt. Both of them are already starting to read it. Hopefully, this will be like group work during regular class, where the other two people do the talking and my contribution is to not yell or throw up on anything. And look, 20 minutes later, when it's the end of ACE period, my worksheet is throw up free. Victory is mine. And I don't care that Miss Rochambeau raises her eyebrows when she picks up my worksheet and it's blank. I'm here, aren't I? No one can force me to do more than that. Okay, guys, I'm going to stop at the end of page 88, and part 2 will start soon. I do want to have a little caveat. That means like a little side note. Fuchsia has expressed interest in well, I'm just going to show my mom. I'm going to call DCF on her and all this stuff. Please give the story time to find out all of Fuchsia's story, all of her perspective, all of her character, and it will make a lot more sense. Do not go and call DCFS on your parents, okay? That is not an okay thing to do. Fuchsia's going to come to realize that that's not an okay thing to do, but I just want to make sure you know I'm not encouraging that. Do not do that for no reason because your mama wants you to move. You'll understand her story a lot more as we go. So I'll see you guys in part 2.